The New York Times says OpenAI deleted evidence in its copyright lawsuit. But before we get into that, researchers from the University College London have done what celebrity chefs and Italian nonnas could only dream of. They've made the world's thinnest spaghetti. This culinary-sounding accomplishment, published in Nanoscale Advances, has yielded strands of starch nanofibers that are just 372 nanometers wide, which is invisible to the naked eye and is even smaller than some wavelengths of light. The world's thinnest spaghetti sounds silly, but starch can actually have important applications in medicine. For instance, nanofiber starches could help wounds heal when used in bandages, since they'd be able to keep out bacteria while allowing moisture through. Rather than going through the energy-intensive process of refining their own plant cell starch for nanofibering, these chemists decided store-bought was fine and made their strands directly from flour. Their version of the nanofibers were created with a process called electrospinning, where an electric charge pulls a flour and liquid mixture through extremely small metal holes into threads that are just nanometers wide. Extrusion through a die is literally the same way you'd make conventional spaghetti to accompany your bolognese or your meatballs, only at a much, much smaller scale. There's still a lot of study to be done before the product will be appearing in the doctor's office, but this is a step toward more sustainable starch nanofibers. And while I would pay good money to watch chefs try to explain invisible pasta on a reality show, electrospinning almost certainly won't become the new molecular gastronomy hotness. As co-author Professor Gareth Williams of the UCL School of Pharmacy put it, I don't think it's useful as pasta, sadly, as it would overcook in less than a second before you could take it out of the pan. Most of it has been recovered, but key parts showing the AI's pattern of plagiarism is still missing. Stephen Hawking told Last Week Tonight's John Oliver a chilling but memorable hypothetical story a decade ago about the potential dangers of AI. The gist is a group of scientists build a super-intelligent computer and ask, "Is there a God?" The computer answers, "There is now." And a bolt of lightning zaps the plug, preventing it from being shut down. Let's hope that's not what happened with OpenAI and some missing evidence from the New York Times plagiarism lawsuit. Wired reported that a court declaration filed by the New York Times on Wednesday says that OpenAI's engineers accidentally erased evidence of the AI's training data that took a long time to research and compile. OpenAI recovered some of the data, but the original file names and folder structure that show when the AI copied its articles into its models are still missing. OpenAI spokesperson Jason Dutram disagreed with the New York Times claims and says the company will file our response soon. The Times has been battling Microsoft and OpenAI over alleged copyright infringement with its AI models since December of last year. The lawsuit is still in its discovery phase when evidence is requested and delivered by both sides to build its case for trial. OpenAI had to turn over its training data to the Times, but hasn't publicly revealed the exact information it used to build the AI modes. Instead, OpenAI created a sandbox of two virtual machines so the New York Times legal team could conduct its research. The New York Times legal team spent more than 150 hours sifting through the data on one of the machines before the data was deleted. OpenAI acknowledged the deletion, but the company's legal team called it a glitch. Although OpenAI engineers tried to correct the mistake, the restored data was missing the New York Times work. This led the New York Times to essentially recreate everything from scratch. The New York Times lawyers said they had no reason to believe the deletion was intentional. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Today's show featured journalism by Engadget contributor Danny Gallagher and was produced by Spoken Layer. I'm Imran Sheikh, and as always, we'll talk more tomorrow.
Spoken Layer.